Hello everyone. I, Snehal Khatawkar, Principal of Acharya Shri Vijay Vallabh Primary School, welcome you all for the webinar on the topic Primary Education during COVID-19. Before we start, I would like to give you a short information about our school. Our school is run by Acharya Shri Vijay Vallabh Rajasthani Jain Vidya Prasarak Trust, Pune for more than 30 years. It's a co-ed school and situated in heart of the Pune city in Bhawanipet, where every stakeholder is a learner and every day is an opportunity to learn and discover. We look at ourselves as a community of learners where everyone learns, including our students, teachers, parents and staff. We believe in our motto, faith in knowledge. Joining this webinar are the eminent personalities, that is, educationists and the principals from renowned schools for the discussion. It's my honor and privilege to introduce to you the panel of members for the discussion. Introducing to you all Director, Academics, Mrs. Vrunda Malse Ma'am. Ma'am has more than 30 years of administrative experience in reputed CBSE, ICSE, Maharashtra State Board schools and junior colleges. Recipient of many awards for being adjudged as an outstanding educationalist and recently conferred with Lifetime Achievement Award at Global Teachers Conference in December 2019 at Mumbai. Now she is at Sanjeevani International School. Thank you, ma'am, for being present with us for this webinar. Our next eminent personality is Mrs. Smita Kulkarni ma'am. Ma'am has done BA, B.Ed and DCM. She is working as a headmistress for Deccan Education Society, Pune. She has won the Best Teachers Award in the year 2001 by Pimpri Chinchwad Corporation, Pune. Welcome to you, ma'am, for this webinar. Next on our panel is Mrs. Shraddha Yarolkar ma'am. Ma'am has done her MSc, B.Ed, DSM, currently working as principal at Vishwakarma Vidyalaya, Pune. We are glad to have you, ma'am, with us this evening. We also have Mrs. Hina Sheikh with us. She has done her BSc, B.Ed. She is the principal in Orchid School in Bhawanipet, Pune. She was rewarded Dronacharya Award by Ranga Utsav. Thank you, ma'am, for being with us this evening. Mrs. Shanti Devdas is also with us for this webinar. Ma'am has done MA, B.Ed, D.Ed and Diploma in School Administration. She has a long teaching experience. Presently, the principal of St. Joseph School, Pune. Welcome to this webinar, ma'am. Mrs. Triza Vaz ma'am is also with us this evening. She has done her TTC, BA, B.Ed and DSM. Ma'am has a vast teaching experience and currently working as a principal of St. Anthony's School, Pune. Welcome to you, ma'am, for this webinar. In this present scenario, the purpose of this webinar is to get the finest information on the topic primary education during COVID-19. I welcome all the eminent personalities invited here for a live Facebook interactive session. Here, we begin with our session organized by Acharya Shri Vijay Vallabh Primary School. So let's begin with our discussion. My first question is to Vrunda Malse ma'am. Hello ma'am, what do you think ma'am? What kind of counseling sessions should be conducted for the parents of primary school at the beginning of the academic year? And what kind of planning should be done for the students in the timetable? Over to you, ma'am.
Namaste. A lovely evening to all of us here. Before I proceed any further, I thank Shri Subhash Parmar and Shrimati Snehal Khatawkar, the principal of Acharya Shri Vijay Vallabh Primary School, Pune, for organizing the much needed webinar on education during COVID-19. Madam, your first question was, What kind of counseling session should be conducted for parents of primary school at the beginning of the academic year? Personally, I feel that we should focus on bringing about a balance between the forced changes and the adaptability attitude of all of us in the field of education. There should be frontline changes in education, that is important, but this time the change was unexpected and forced on us. COVID has completely changed the matrix of education with respect to all of us. The declaration of lockdown period has led to mixed reactions. First of all, social distancing and isolation are emotionally exhausting as they both are not very normal to we humans. Secondly, our parents are still not very comfortable with distance and homeschooling. All the same, we have to accept the change and be ready to adapt quickly. How do we go about it? How do we train our children? It has been seen that for 6 months our children would be at home because the schools are going to reopen in the month of September. Yes? How are you going to manage this? Online teaching will happen, but parents, here we have seen that most of the parents have become teachers now. Be calm and proactive. We must remember that we will have to live with COVID 19 for maybe 1 year, 2 years, or till we get a vaccine. We constantly require to build up confidence in our young children. We have to keep reassuring our children that the symptoms in COVID 19 are curable and discuss our plans with children. We must not panic as they look up to us seeking assurance and hence need to create positive vibes and put up a brave front. So let us all work in removing the fear from everybody's mind. Once you remove the fear, everything will be taken care of. After that, we have to maintain a routine. We need to prepare a daily timetable, variety in the schedule such as work, leisure, exercise, etc. We must get up and do exercises together, have breakfast together, and then go to offices and school online on time. This will make things organized at home and children will be disciplined too. We also have to be a good listener, that is very important. Ask open questions and listen. Be honest. Explain the truth, as honesty and openness is required to build up confidence in our children. We need to check in with them about what they have been hearing and reading. We must address the misunderstandings and avoid fake news and superstitions. Only listen to news from standard news media, and if at all required, if children have any questions, explore those answers along with your children on the sites like WHO, then UNICEF. Such sites are there and children feel involved, you are involved, and that helps them. Then after that, show them how to protect themselves. That is very important. This will offer reassurance. We need to focus on things which are under control, like washing hands, wearing masks, gloves, way of coughing. You have to put your hand like this, and sneezing also. You have to see that you don't sneeze on others. That makes all the difference. Then you have to create some welcome distractions. These are very important. We must plan a time together in a very positive way, like making meals together, doing exercises together, then meditation, yoga, baking, reading, you name it, where we all can join together and do it together. In this way, I don't know how many of you have observed today that whenever I open a WhatsApp group, I'll find that so many fathers are sending their recipes, and they're all innovative recipes. That's the best part of it. Everyone is involved, and you're all having your homemade food. That's the best thing. And with that, you'll find that most of you are not falling sick because of that, because you're having your homemade food. You're not eating outside. This is very important. The next tip what I would like to share with you is, check if your child is experiencing or spreading stigma. Invariably, what happens is, we have this habit of telling our children that, and we should not speak also in front of our children like this. We need to be very careful about what we speak in front of the children. Instead, we must empathize with people, be kind, and help as many as we can. This will help in removing confusion and stress among the children. The children are under confusion and they are under impression, oh, because of this person only the COVID-19 has been spreading. Why do we require to jump to such conclusions? We should not do that. Okay? Then we should also encourage some healthy habits. Healthy habits help in building up immunity. Eating healthy food in right proportion, doing physical exercises, yoga, and meditation releases what? Feel good hormones, which will help us to fight the virus eventually. That is what is required. That is what we are talking about today. Help your child develop life skills. All said and done, COVID-19 has done the job which others could not do it. This is the right time to help our children grow up as self-made adults. A little encouragement to our children and develop better communication, which will promote self-directed critical thinking. COVID-19 has helped our children to wake up on time, prepare their own meals, doing their laundry, doing dishes and cleaning up, talking to adults, problem solving strategy, managing budget, basic first aid, learning to navigate, that is finding out your places. All these life skills will help our children to learn something new that will spark their inner motivation and curiosity. That is very important. Then you have to monitor your own behavior also. That is very important. We need to take care of yourself. You need to look after your family and everyone at home and society. If you are not okay, how are you going to look after everyone at home? That is very important. So we have to monitor our own behavior, our own health. And finally, close the conversation with care. That is very important. Because if we do not close it on a positive note and we keep on sulking and cribbing whenever we see the news on TV, we are going to impact our children and surroundings. So close your conversations on a very positive note and reassure your children with a better tomorrow. COVID-19 has helped all of us to evolve as a person, which will help us to grow and progress further. I am hopeful of a June that holds medical miracles, resolved economy, families able to spend time together with lots of laughter and joy, and finally we can say we are ready for the corona effect. Yes, that's very, very important. After the students are reassured by the parents with respect to COVID-19, now we can turn our attention to the next question put up by Mrs. Snehal Khataukar, that what kind of planning should be done for students in the timetable. Friends, what will we call this type of an academic year? A virus hit academic year? As schools are expected to remain closed for a longer period in view of COVID-19, most of the parents have become teachers. Yes? The schools have been closed since March 16, 2020. That is nearly 3 months till today. Going up to September 2020, making it 6 months closure. This classroom shutdown has been taken up by the government as one of the measures to contain the COVID-19 outbreak. We all know that the health and safety of the young students has to be the priority at any cost. Let us first ask ourselves one question. Who do I want to be during COVID-19? The complete stage of COVID-19 can be divided into 3 zones: fear zone, learning zone, and growth zone. In the month of March, it was the fear zone, where we were collecting things. We collected medicines, we collected food, we collected so many things which we thought that they may not be available. Suddenly there's going to be a shortage. And we feared everything. Whatever we read, we believed it. Whatever we got as forwards, we further sent it to our friends. But then the learning zone came in after 1 month. After 1 month of lockdown, we realized that we should not be believing everyone. There are some things which are fake. There are some things which are superstitious. And that is what makes the difference. And we started learning we started differentiating from what was right and what was wrong. And then we assume, now we have just entered the growth zone. In the growth zone, we are more mature with our attitude towards COVID-19. We know how to handle it. We have our plans ready. We know how to go about it. We know that if something happens to us, where do we go? We have to immediately go to these centers, get ourselves checked. We have this Arogya Setu in our mobiles. We keep on checking wherever we go. So this shows that we are in the learning zone, we are in the growth zone. Now we have just entered the growth zone. Schooling looks after the emotional, social, and behavioral health of our children. And to cater to these, the suggested measures for self-isolation and distancing ourselves from others are to be practiced by children, which is very difficult, particularly by the primary age group, as these measures are not normal. Have you seen? Most of us, we somehow manage, we elders particularly, we can take a book, sit in a corner, read that book, or keep ourselves busy with some work. But these children require to go out, meet their friends, play on the grounds, and this is what we are stopping them from doing. Presently, teachers are trying to engage students through online teaching and learning, which means learning anywhere, anytime, and this has become a new reality. The transition period from online teaching back to classroom teaching requires a huge mindset shift of both the parents and students. We require to prepare ourselves we have to plan sanitization and other rules. Our SOPs have to be put up in all places. What are SOPs? SOPs are standard operating procedures. They have to be put up at all places. Wherever we find children, students, parents reading them, they have to see that. And all members must be trained on behavior change. Certainly after 6 months you may find that the child is not that friendly or the teacher is not that friendly. So we all have to be trained why this is happening, and hence we have to also sympathize, we have to empathize with these children and understand why they are doing so. A detailed circular to go to parents, teachers, and multiple calls have to be made for the follow-up. At entry and exit points, school transportation, infirmary, social distancing to be made operational and mandatory. This is very, very important. So how are you going to check on this? I think there was one video which went viral in some of the schools in Europe, how they are managing the schools, how they are going to do once the school reopens after COVID-19 lockdown period is over. Suspension of morning assemblies and sporting activities on playground. This we'll have to tackle it very, very carefully. We will have to explain why we are doing this, and secondly we'll have to plan out some indoor games. Luckily we are belonging to the monsoon country where we'll be having rains during that time, so we have to perforce go by to the indoor games. So it's working out for us in a very nice way, but we'll have to do it in a very, very nice and organized way. Norms for sevikas and sevaks for escorting students. This is very important. In our country, we are very lucky that we have the sevaks and sevikas who are escorting our children, and they also have to be told, they also have to have proper rules and regulations. They also have to be trained how to escort the children without touching them and all that, and how to escort these children without these children feeling left out. These are very important things which have to be looked into. Then the breaks have to be staggered. That is very important. Not that everyone goes for breaks together. You will have to stagger depending upon the age group. You send the first standards first, and the second standards, and after that the third standards. This is how it has to be done. And secondly, the touch points have to be reduced. This is very, very important. This is very important because COVID-19, we are saying that you wash your hands, wear gloves, wear your mask. This is basically because your touch points have to be reduced. And at the same time, the equipments have to be sanitized. Suppose in sports, even in the indoor games, you have some equipment which is kept there. Those have to be sanitized. In infirmary, the beds, the bed sheets, the clothes, the gowns, everything has to be sanitized. In the labs, the instruments have to be sanitized. This all we have to look into. And of course, very important, COVID 19 insurance for everyone. Everyone, as everyone is important, every member, every stakeholder in the field of education is important. So, COVID 19 insurance should be made mandatory for all the members. At the same time, we also have to see to it that plan B and C are kept ready. If lockdown is extended, what should we do? It's not that we keep stranded there. Okay, fine. Lockdown hai to lockdown hai. We will continue with online teaching. We have a plan B and C. We will not allow this academic year to go waste, and we will educate our children in the right way. That should be the attitude. God forbid any one case shows symptoms. How are we going to handle this? It's not that everyone panics. Arey baapre, you got a COVID case here. It's not like that. The school staff, students, and parents should not panic, but must be well prepared with your standard operating procedure, and immediately make arrangements to shift this individual to the nearest COVID 19 testing center. We must have good tie-ups with the hospitals for such cases. We can call only half of the school at any given time. That should be always seen into the while making your timetable, because that's very important. We cannot have overcrowding of the schools, we cannot have overcrowding of the corridors, we cannot have the overcrowding of the cafeterias and all the common places, the toilets. We have to also see to it that there are proper norms followed in the toilets also. These all have to be looked into, and this is where the training has to be given to everyone. So the school will have to be divided into two groups as per convenience and requirements. We can have two types of timings if you want. One is from play home to standard 5, we have 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and for 6 to 12 standard 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. This is what we are doing. But at the same time, we can also have all classes. We are divided the school into two different class groups. That is from play home to 5th standard. In the second category, we can have all classes, but call only the odd numbers on odd days. Again, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. We can have the full school, but then it will be only for the odd numbers. That is odd roll numbers, whatever we have in the school, and odd classes on odd days. All classes, odd numbers on odd days. That is very important. And then again, we have the same thing. We have all classes, even numbers on even dates, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. With this type of arrangement, we will be able to cover the full school. You will be more organized with only half of your school coming to the school, and your teachers are also better organized. They will be able to take care of these COVID cases. With online teaching on the other days, we can continue with the complete teaching. We may have to, reduce the syllabus. We may have to look into the curriculum part of it. That is very important. After taking these precautions, then only we can plan the content of the timetable. The HRD ministry has developed an alternate academic program, bringing in the new dimension to the educational process of the school students. This calendar, developed by the NCERT, has provided with the adequate space to the state contents too. A subject-wise activity has been planned for the students to deal with every situation arising out of lockdown. The idea is to engage students meaningfully so that they do not suffer from anxiety for staying indoors for a long period. The home activities are planned as per the themes covered in the textbooks and syllabus. These activities will also help the parents and teachers map the learning outcomes of the children. Reskilling, upskilling will gain momentum. Vocational courses will be in great demand. The MOOC courses, do you know what does that full form of MOOC courses mean? Mass open online courses will also be on the rise. COVID-19 has proved that education is limitless, which has completely remodeled the education system. We only need to adapt ourselves in a responsible way, because it will not be the most intelligent one or the strongest one who will survive, but the one who is ready to adapt changes will survive. I would like to end my talk on a very positive note by comparing the COVID 19 with the annual solar eclipse, which happens to be on 21st June 2020. We are all going through the COVID 19 darkness phase, but at the end of the passage, we will all experience the lovely and beautiful Corona diamond effect. Thank you for listening to me patiently. Thank you so much. God bless.
Yes, ma'am. I totally agree with you. Yes, the counseling is a must for the parents at the beginning of the academic year. Ma'am, you have explained all the aspects of counseling which will be surely beneficial for the parents. You have also given us the guidelines to be followed for the timetable also. Thank you, ma'am. Now I come to Shraddha Yerolkar, ma'am. Ma'am, what kind of preparations the school should do before starting the new academic year? And what are your views regarding it? Over to you, ma'am.
I'm very thankful to Mrs. Snehal Khataukar ma'am for giving me this opportunity to interact with all the experts on educational platform. A very good evening to all of you. Now, as the situation in the city or in the country, each one of us are suffering from COVID-19. But we can stop anything else in our life, but teaching and learning, it will never stop. It should go on. Lockdown is not for teaching as well as for learning also. This is my clear opinion. So there are two things, like the school supposed to prepare for themselves to start with the new very academic year. It's already very late to prepare the things, but the things what we prepare as a school, just I am sharing with all of you. There are two things from government side, nothing is clear as such whether to start or not to start. Still the discussions are going on, experts are talking on all these things. But as a school, we should be prepared from both the side, online as well as offline. Online, if you all are starting, that already started from 15th of June. The things what we need to, teacher training, requirements of all the digital equipments, whatever is required, these two things are very, very important. Apart from these two, training the parents and talking, interacting with the students online, these are all things are very, very important. So, once the children and parents are trained and teachers are also trained, then we will not reach to 100%, but at least 90% we can give the best education to the student through online. Regarding offline, if government says today you all can start with the first and foremost is infrastructure, which is very, very important during COVID-19. Infrastructure, what exactly? Of course, it is made up of the cements and blocks and everything, lot many things, area is occupied, like playground, classrooms, office, paperwork, lot many things like that. So, infrastructure, hygiene is very, very important. Take this hygiene as a point. Sanitization, cleaning, disinfection, classroom layout without no extra furniture is required as such. All the extra furniture to be removed from that. Not more than 2 children at a time for the washroom we have to send. And secondly, the limitation, social distancing is very, very important if children are coming to the school. Not only if you take the social distancing, so 1/3 of the children can attend the school in one shift. Here we have to work hard, like anything, teachers, principals and POs. After every one shift, we have to sanitize the area again to start with the second shift.
Yes, ma'am. We truly agree with you. As preparations are very necessary for the smooth working of the schools before starting the new academic year. We at Acharya Shri Vijay Vallabh School have also done the preparations in the same way. Thank you, ma'am. Now come to Smita Kulkarni ma'am. Hello ma'am, my question to you is, how are the primary teachers supposed to create an awareness amongst the primary school students regarding COVID-19?
Good evening, everyone. Present here, all the HMs on the dais. And first of all, I would like to thank the headmistress of Vijay Vallabh School, Pune, Mrs. Snehal Khataukar, for giving me this opportunity to express my views on this platform. Ma'am, the question that you have put in front of me is how primary teachers can create an awareness amongst these small kids regarding COVID-19. If we consider the age of these children, it is between 6 years to 10 years. So, what do these children like? They love singing, they love dancing, they love to see puppet shows, they love to dramatize. So, if we consider their liking of these things, then we can create awareness using these likings. For example, we can tell them small stories, or even we can make small stories in which we can tell them how care is to be taken, and if care is not taken, how a child or a person can get infected. We can also make small songs for them and make them sing along, so that they will remember that they have to wash hands, they have to sanitize their hands, or they have to use a mask. There are many songs on YouTube and on Google based on washing hands, which we can show them that by washing hands for 20 seconds is going to keep them safe. We can even make small videos to draw their attention towards yoga and meditation, and also towards reading, because by reading it's going to help them in many ways, plus they are going to spend most of the time at home. We can also have discussions with these small children, like what do they know about the virus, how are they taking care, and of course those children who say that they are taking care, or they are washing their hands all the time, or they don't go out of the house to play with their friends, we can appreciate those children, so that the other children will also think that we should also behave in the same manner. Some cartoons are also available on YouTube which can be showed to the children to bring awareness towards COVID-19. We can also talk to the parents and encourage them to be the role models. Teachers, when school begins, should also wear a mask and maintain social distancing, so that children will look at them as role model. So using these liking of the children, I think we can create awareness towards COVID-19, and I'm very much sure, because children imitate the older people and they will surely take care of themselves. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Awareness among the primary students should be created regarding COVID-19 through the primary teachers, as the students have lot of faith in their teachers. Thank you, ma'am. Now I come to Hina Sheikh ma'am. Ma'am, I would like to know, how can the role of primary teachers be more effective for primary students? Over to you, ma'am.
Snehal Madam and Mr. Subhash Sir of Vijay Vallabh School giving me such a wonderful opportunity. The education will always and will forever, it will be a noble profession. You have given me the question, the role of primary teacher will be more effective for the primary students. The primary teacher role plays an important role, plays a crucial role for developing the child's mind. The primary teacher's role is to give the immense and the valuable moral lectures. They should inculcate all the moral values. This is the important role of the primary teacher. Now, the primary teacher should also help the students in imparting the knowledge, and she should be so flexible. She should adopt the situation, and according to situation she should able to mold the student. I also think the primary teacher should be more creative, more innovative, and she should take the students in very patient manner. She should have the self-confidence that will help the student to inbuild the quality in them. The primary teacher should also inculcate of the active listening, because she should be very patiently able to listen to the children, and she should able to give them whatever the answer they want, whatever queries they are facing. So she should have the active listening skill. Secondly, she should be the most resource person, where she should give ample of knowledge to their students. They should have the collection of the resources, and she should able to give to the student. Now, the role of the primary teacher also plays in the children who are slow learners. She should give the ample of time. She should give them a practice, not only a single time but several times. So after taking the practice, the child will able to learn. She should not leave the child in this situation. So the teacher should be smart enough to handle the weaker students. The teacher should be very supportive, and she should be concerned towards the child. She should be very motherly and caring, where the child will also come in the influence of the teacher, and the teacher can develop the confidence at the extreme level. So primary teachers plays an important role in upbringing in the child life. Teacher should also give them a group activity or the peer group, and also show them the team work, because in the team activity the child learns in the more fun manner and the united manner. The teacher should make student engage in the some of the activities which helps the student to come up with the ideas and learn in the group. It is also a good approach towards the students.
Yes, ma'am. I truly agree with you and with your opinion. As teachers, really are the role models for the students. Students inherit all the teachings of the teachers. Teachers at Acharya Shri Vijay Vallabh School really assist immensely in developing child's values. Thank you, ma'am. Now I come to Shanti ma'am. Ma'am, what do you think should be duration of time for primary school students, and what efforts should be made by primary teachers to make e-learning effective and interesting for primary school students? Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Let me at the outset thank the chairman, Mr. Subhash Parmar, and the primary school principal, Snehal Khataukar of Acharya Shri Vijay Vallabh School, Pune, for hosting this webinar and inviting us to it. It will definitely benefit all of us by giving us an insight into the various aspects of education in times of COVID-19 crisis. Well, coming to your question, ma'am, I will answer the first part of your question. What should be the duration of time for primary school students? Psychologists and experts claim that the average attention span of primary school students is around 10 to 15 minutes, and this level may vary according to the motivation, mood, perceived relevance of material, and other such factors. So keeping this in mind, the class should be short and efforts should be taken to see that the students are motivated and engaged by making the learning effective and entertaining. Though technology provides great opportunities to make learning effective, it can create medical issues like eye strain, feelings of fatigue, hyperactivity, obesity, interference in sleep patterns if the duration of screen time is long. And besides, there is the potential danger of internet exposure too. Now, the government has issued us a new standard operation procedure. And as per that, there should be no online classes for students of standard 1 to 2, including the pre-primary. And the screen hour for the students of standard 3 to 5 should be only 1 hour. Whereas for the students of standard 6 to 8, it should be only 2 hours. And I think that this is just the right duration for online classes for the primary students. Moreover, if the duration is short, but if it is used effectively and wisely, then learning will be enhanced. So I suggest bite learning, where teachers can address only one learning objective. And teachers here need to see that they chunk the content matter smartly. So when you deliver this lesson in 5 to 10 minutes, the brain will consume it easily and knowledge will be retained. And parents too can be made available for their children if the duration is short. They can monitor their children, supervise and check if the students or their children are viewing only the matter that is sent from school or only matter that is related to learning and not deviate from learning. And moreover, if the parents are working, they too will need devices like laptops, tablets, handsets for their personal use. If online classes are long, naturally it's going to disrupt the pattern of daily chores in a family. So taking all these factors into consideration, I think we should try out some short pre-recorded classes which can be viewed offline for primary students. And moreover, a flexible approach is the much better one, where students are given freedom to learn whenever they have an access to the learning device. Coming to your second question, ma'am, what efforts should be made by primary teachers to make e-learning effective and interesting for students? Today, teachers can use plethora of strategies to teach and improve learning experiences and learning outcomes. Attention should be paid to all learners and to their learning styles. It is important for a teacher to plan interesting and engaging lessons. She needs to choose the right mode of delivery of instructions. She also needs to design teaching content as per the need of diverse learners and use multiple methods, multiple presentations like audio clips, videos, virtual trips, PPTs, PDFs, 3D graphical displays, animations, etc. to explain complex topics. I also recommend YouTube educational videos, informative TED Talks to shake up the standard lessons of the teachers. You can also use blended learning, where when presenting a short material, teachers can give series of short presentations using examples. A face-to-face online video conferencing also can be held by the teachers. Flipped learning is also very famous, where online and physical classroom teaching can make a great learning experience. But in today's scenario, the teacher can simply put a whiteboard behind the camera and teach as he or she would in a physical classroom. But always keep in mind the length of a class. I also suggest a fun element in your classrooms. Excitement tends to motivate the brain. It is not necessary that the teacher should be serious all the time. It is okay to add humor and laugh. This way the students can relax and learn better. Now for assessment, the teachers can have it through playing games. They can throw in quizzes, puzzles and analyze the students' comprehension of material. I also want the teachers to give some project work. It will push them to fully understand the topic and practice critical thinking. Ask the students to develop small questions after taking part in a class discussion and online forums. You can use online chat rooms, discussion boards, etc. All this will develop their potential as free thinkers. So, ma'am, I think with the use of all these techniques and strategies, you will be able to captivate or capture the student attention and broaden their knowledge in an effective manner. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. In the present situation of COVID-19, The best way to keep connected with the students is through e-learning only. We at Acharya Shri Vijay Vallabh School have already implemented it from the month of April. Our teachers have prepared educational videos which are uploaded on YouTube channel, as we are having a strong support from our management for doing this work. Your tips for the time duration will surely be useful for us. Thank you, ma'am. Now, my question is to Triza ma'am. Ma'am, what, as per your opinion, what efforts can the parents of primary school students can take on their behalf? And how can we maintain social distancing amongst the students and staff in the school? Over to you, ma'am.
I firstly want to thank Ms. Nehal for inviting me for this meet and the school for organizing this meet because it is the need of the hour. This is a platform for us principals to speak and we are happy about it. To the question, role of parents, my opinion is, we always say parents are said to be the first teachers, but in this stressful, unpredictable time, parents have to take up a new role, a new challenge, that of a school teacher. In order to continue the learning process, they must firstly create a sustainable routine for their learning. We all agree that learning must go on. Distractions should be limited. A digital quarantine might be necessary to help them focus. Make a space for learning where there is no distraction at all. Parents have to take on the role of an encourager, a mentor, a guide, a support. They have to help and guide the child at the beginning, initially, and gradually help them to be responsible. Parents need to be appreciative of their each day's performance, be their children's cheerleaders, and so a part of the child's academic progress. We need to give children breaks in between, so create a school atmosphere. Keep them also connected with their school friends. Parents also need to interact with fellow parents. Remember, virtual class works better when parents take on an active part in the child's education. Someone has rightly said, you can help your children by providing them with a structure and routine and by being a positive force in their education. So parents need to be very positive about this, that learning has to go on online. To add to all this, parents need to pay attention to their children's physical health because a healthy diet and exercise will help them to grow well. Coming to the next question, social distancing between parents and the staff. We all are aware that primary students are more at a risk of contacting the virus. Firstly, primary students should be educated on the transmission and spread of the virus, the importance of hygiene, and most important, the importance of social distancing. Guidelines should be put out in all the corridors for the students. Even the staff needs to maintain social distance. So guidelines should be put even in the staff room. Lunch time, break times, and the movements of pupils around the school must be staggered to reduce large groups of children gathering. Students need to be spaced, so every class to be divided into 2 or 3 sections. Visits to the toilet to be taken one at a time. Staff need to increase their level of self-protection by minimizing close contact where appropriate. Staff also need to follow hygiene, that is, wash hands frequently, cleaning of surfaces that are touched often. So the school needs to provide hygiene material both for the students and the teachers. I feel it will be a good practice in the primary section if one teacher teaches all the subjects. So movement from one class of teachers to another is restricted. Arrival and departure of the students and teachers to be spaced. Airflow and ventilation to be seen. In no circumstances should any assemblies be held. Schools may therefore need to work in shifts or alternate days according to the school's infrastructure. So we all need to work together, the principal, the staff, the parents and the children, to adapt ourselves to the new change that has come now.
Yes, ma'am. The role of the parents is very important in this situation. We truly agree with you. You have put forth the role of parents in today's situation in most pleasing manner. Ma'am, I totally agree that maintaining social distancing among the students and staff in the school is also very important and proper planning for it is required. And you have really shared a wonderful and a very useful steps towards it. Thank you, ma'am. Now, over to Smita Kulkarni, ma'am. Ma'am, how can the writing skills be developed during the COVID-19 through virtual teaching sessions? Over to you, ma'am.
Hello. Now the question before me is, how can the writing skills be developed during COVID-19 through the virtual sessions? If we go to see through virtual sessions, improving handwriting is very difficult because the teacher and the child has to be in front of each other to actually show where he is going wrong. But now due to lockdown that is not possible, and so now we have only one way, and that is virtual session. So I think we can make, or the teacher can make, small videos to show every step how the child should go forward. The first video the teacher can make is to show the strokes of the letters which are circular in shape, that is which are to be written in a circle form. So circular stroke, that is anti-clockwise and clockwise, can be shown, in which most of the letters like C, D, E, G, O, P, Q, these will be covered of English letters, and of course Marathi to Barakhadi from O, and some of the swar can be included in this anti-clockwise and clockwise circular movement. Then the teacher can forward another video in which slanting lines, sleeping lines and standing line strokes can be emphasized, in which many of the letters like again H, M, W and so on will be covered. Then she can forward a video with formations of capital letters, their sizes, their shapes, the letters which go above the line, the letters that come below the line. So that can be emphasized in this video. Children will see the video and practice handwriting. Then she can forward or make a small video with 2-letter words, and these words having the proper proportion of spacing between them. So that can be emphasized in this video. Then she can make a video writing small sentences. The sentences should be around 4 to 5 words only, where again she can emphasize on the space to be left between the letters and between the words, and again the sizes of the letters capital and small. Then the next video can be on the paragraphs. To again here the spacing of letters, capital letters, the size of the capital letters, the size of the small letters, how to begin from the margin, then the sizes of the other letters, the spacing between each word, the spacing between each letter, and so on. And of course here she can specify about the full stops and capital letters and all the punctuation marks too. So all this can happen, and then she can go to big paragraphs. And of course when the children will write the whole page, then the teacher can send a video where she has written a full paragraph and the whole of the presentation of that paragraph looks good. It can happen that when the children are writing, in some of the places the letters may become some small, or some letter may become big, or somewhere the spacing may differ, because after all they are small children. But at such times, of course, the general impression of the whole paragraph should look good, and if it is looking good, do inspire the children and appreciate them that your paragraph or your handwriting is looking very good. This will boost them and they will surely start writing much better, and they will also stop making, or they will not make the mistakes which they have made in the earlier paragraph. I think in this way, by making small videos and showing them step by step, will surely help them to improve their handwriting during this virtual sessions due to lockdown because of COVID-19. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Developing writing skills is very difficult through virtual teachings, but it is up to the teachers how they make it easy for the students. It is not impossible. It can be done to its best with the help of the parents also. Thank you, ma'am, for your response. To conclude with the session, today, after the discussion on the platform of Acharya Shri Vijay Vallabh Primary School, we have seen how the counseling for the parents plays an important role in the present scenario. What kind of preparations the school should do before starting the new academic year. Preparation of primary school teachers during the period of COVID-19. Effective ways in which the e-learning sessions should be taken by the teachers. Duration of school and the timetable to be followed. Role of the primary school parents and their support which is needed during this period. I hope all the discussion will surely help us while we start our school in the new academic year. Yes, it was encouraging to hear you all speak and giving insight to the topic. Seeing the present situation, the schools have started virtual teaching sessions and the schools are eagerly waiting for it to start. We have right persons at the right time on the platform of Acharya Shri Vijay Vallabh Primary School for the discussion on the topic primary education during COVID-19. On behalf of Acharya Shri Vijay Vallabh School, I take this opportunity to thank educationists and the principals of the renowned schools for accepting my invitation for this webinar and being present for this webinar for discussion on the topic primary education during COVID-19. I also thank our management, teachers and non-teaching staff for the support which they always render. A special thanks to our chairman, Sri Subhashji Parmar, who is always there to guide and motivate us. Thank you.